Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm filming today what I read in February. I didn't read a lot, I will start off by saying that, unfortunately, but I did break out of my slump in this past February, this past month, finally. So I've gotten some good books to like get me out of a slump, so this is a good what I read because this is the books that helped me get out of a slump. So if you're looking for any entertaining reads or just something that's like fast-paced and whatnot, this is the video for you. So before we start, I've got some fun book of the month reads. Okay, so this is the little box that you get for book of the month and then fun little book. So before we get started, if you haven't heard of book of the month, they are a super popular and fast-growing online book service for readers, and their mission is to promote new and emerging authors, but also with connecting readers to finding books that they love. Their team vets hundreds of books each month, and they give their readers a choice from a curated selection of new early release titles, so you can spend more time reading and less time researching. Book of the month is also risk-free, so you can skip any month anytime you want. There is no penalty for doing so. So if you have too many books to read one month and you just want to take a pause, you could do so. You do not get penalized, which is amazing. Plus, they have the best price for new release hardcover fiction. You get your first book for $9.99 by using my code SARACARROLLI. I will put that on the screen. I'll also put that in the description. Everything will be linked in the description for you to go check out if you are interested. So these are the books that I got. I'm actually really excited about this month. But first, my bookmark, one of my favorite parts of book of the month. This one says, new books, same laundry, I'm not folding, which is very true. If I could turn my camera around and show you the amount of clothes that I have in my room. Love the bookmarks. They're literally one of my favorite parts. Every time I get one and I see the little saying on it, I love it. Okay, books that I got. This one I am so beyond excited for. This is called The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. So it says that Jess, she's broke. She goes to crash with her brother Ben. He lives in Paris, so she moved to Paris with him, but when she shows up, Ben's not there. She just can't find him. And it says the longer that Ben stays missing, the more Jess starts to dig into her brother's situation. And then Ben's neighbors are not friendly and everyone's a suspect. So this one just sounds very intriguing. It's a little mystery. I love the cover. I always say book of the month covers and books you can choose from are literally my favorite things ever. So very excited about this. Okay, then the other books that I have, Cartographers by Peng Shepherd. I love this cover, all the books on it. And then I have The Unsinkable Greta James by Jennifer E. Smith. Love this cover. That's beautiful. I love these colors. Look at the back. Okay, and then I have Tell Me Everything, the story of a private investigation by Erica Krause. Love. Dating Dr. Dill. This one is a contemporary romance that I am very excited for. I'm pretty sure the main character, the girl's aunts, present the love interest or whatever to convince her that he's her soulmate, and they'll give him money. So it's kind of like an arranged thing going on. I love this. Look at the cover and the characters. Then I have The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. And then the last one is The Verifiers by Jane Peck. So these are all the books I got. You'll notice that instead of 5 books this month, there's 7. So what book of the month is doing? They're basically experimenting with featuring more than 5 books some months, so you'll get the same like great books but just more to choose from, which is super fun. So those are the ones that I got. Again, everything is linked down below. You can use my code SARACARROLLI for your first hardcover to be $9.99. Now into the books that I have read this month. I have 3 right here. One my friend let me borrow that I gave back that I don't have, and then my Kindle, I believe. First book that I read this month was actually, I have it written down, but it was I didn't finish. You guys know what I'm about to say, but Addicted After All. You guys are probably tired of me talking about it, but I did read this month. Technically, I tried to read it the first week of the month and it didn't work out. So I'm not gonna really talk about it. We'll get there to this book in this series when we get there, but technically I was reading this book in the beginning of the month, but we're not talking about this. But what we are gonna talk about is the first book, The Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren. So this is my book shopping vlog, but also my book haul video. I picked this up solely because of the cover, because it was around Valentine's Day. I think it was like 2 days before. I saw all these hearts and I was like, I think I need that. I literally picked this up without reading the back. Then I read it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, and Christina Lauren wrote Love and Other Words, my favorite book, but this one didn't hold up to that. I don't think any other book will. Like, I don't know. I read The On Honeymooners by then, but this one I loved a lot more. I wasn't the biggest fan of The On Honeymooners, but basically this is about a married couple, Melissa and Rusty Tripp. They're basically like, think of HGTV power couple, like Joanna Gaines and forgot her husband's name, but like that power couple. They make amazing houses, they're famous, they have a show, everything like that, but they're not the main characters. The main character is Carrie Duncan. She works for them. She has been working for them since she was 16. Her first job, she's been working with them forever, and she's grown with them, and now she's just like full-time hired as Carrie's assistant. And then they hire another worker who's an engineer. His name is James McCann. He's technically Tripp's assistant, but like he doesn't like to be called an assistant or whatever. So on the outside of the Tripp's relationship, they look amazing. Their marriage looks great. They're coming out with like a marriage book and stuff like that. On the inside, like Carrie and James can see that they fight. They do not get along. There's secrets in their relationship and whatnot. So they have to go on a book book tour for their new book that's coming out, and Carrie and James have to go along with them to keep them from fighting and the whole thing blowing up. Things happen while they're on the book tour and going along, and then Carrie and James kind of connect over the situation and things like that, which I liked how you get like the relationship with the marriage, but also Carrie and James and everything connecting. And then towards the end there is a plot twist, kind of, you know, from the beginning, because it starts in a foreshadowing type of way in an investigation room because something happened at the end and they're interviewing James and Carrie, which was what really hooked me, because I was like, oh, okay, something fun's gonna, not fun, but like something's gonna happen towards the end of the book. And when that happened, it was like my favorite part, obviously, but it was like a metaphor. I felt like if you read it or if you read it, like you'll understand. I really liked it. It was a little bit slow at some points and it wasn't like my favorite read, so I gave this, I think it was a 4 out of 5, maybe a 3 out of 5. It was my favorite. If I could rate it right now, it's 3.5 out of 5, but it was a good read and it was entertaining, so I liked this one. Definitely recommend it. Okay, and then after that I read Without Merit by Colleen Hoover. This was in a reading vlog more recently. I read this in maybe like a day and a half. Any Colleen Hoover book you give me, I will read so quick. You guys know how I stand with Colleen, but this one I don't see anywhere. I think this is so underrated. I don't know why no one talks about this book. This is so good. It has romance in it, but it's more just like a fiction read. Basically it's about Merit and her family. They live in a repurposed church. There's a reason behind that you find out, but she lives with her dad, all of her siblings, and then her dad's new wife, who was the mom's nurse that he had an affair with, and the mom is sick and she lives in the basement, and it's like a whole thing going on with the family. They don't get along. There's like a lot of tension in the house, and all of them have secrets, and Merit knows everyone's secrets, and she just kind of like ends up blowing up because she's holding in all these secrets, and it's just insane, the secrets that come out you just don't expect. And it was crazy. But I would say read the trigger warnings before, possibly, because there is a part that's a little bit intense. But I loved this book. I thought it was very well done. It's not like anything I've ever read, really, and just Colleen just like hooks me from the beginning. Like how there's like a mystery element in Colleen's books, especially like this one, like you don't know exactly how it's gonna end or how these people connect and like all of that. There is a romance in here that I really liked, like more towards like the second half, but I loved this. You guys probably could have seen that coming. I think I rated this a 4 out of 5. Wasn't my favorite by her, but like it was really good. Okay, then right after that, in the same reading vlog, which I'll link it down below or like put a little tab up here, was My Policeman by, who wrote this, Bethan Roberts. I told you guys, or you guys can just tell why I read this, because Harry Styles is going to be in the movie that comes out this year, and I was like, I think I need to read this before the movie comes out. I couldn't not do that, so that's what I did, and I read this. I knew before going in that it was taking place in the 1900s. It was olden times. I knew what it was about, the essence of it. I knew I wasn't gonna love it going into it, but I just, picturing Harry made it better. I don't know. Basically, it takes place in like the 1950s. It starts out by Marion. She's writing to her husband's lover from back in the day, explaining her relationship with Tom, who is her husband, and like their relationship and leading up to the marriage and stuff. And then you get like that flashback from her, and then it goes into Patrick's point of view, who is Tom's lover she knew of. It's like this whole thing, and then Patrick's writing how his side of it was with Tom, so you get both sides. I didn't love the characters. I just very unlikable to me. This book was very predictable. I knew what was coming throughout the whole thing. It was boring at times, and I just felt like some of the conversations were just like so bland and so painfully boring. I do think some of the quotes and some of the paragraphs were beautifully written in a way, but I didn't love it too much. I did like the foreshadowing and the flashbacks, like that part. I didn't love that she didn't write when it was Tom, not when it was Patrick writing, and then it switched to Marion. You just kind of had to like figure it out as you were reading. I didn't love that, but I mean, whatever. And then I did like when Marion on her section would call Tom like Tom, but then Patrick's writing, he would call him My Policeman, hence the name of the book. I did like that part. It gave kind of like a difference between how they saw Tom. And yeah, I enjoyed the book. It was just a little bit slower for me just because of the time era and stuff like that. It's not a book I love. I love contemporary romances, but it wasn't bad. It's just predictable, but it wasn't bad. I'm excited for the movie. I feel like this movie might be better than the book. Don't hold me to that, but yeah, I'll give my reaction to the movie maybe after it comes out or whatever. But that was what I read after that. So then after that, I read Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. I always get her mixed up with Sally Rooney, just the names, I don't know why, but I read that right after. My friend lent me it. She loves that book and I enjoyed it. I give it a 3 out of 5. It's basically about this girl who has worked at a retirement home like her whole life, ever since I think that was her first job, and she's just, her whole life is planned out there. She just doesn't want to move. She's very like nerdy. She kind of acts like an older woman just because she's surrounded by so many old people. She runs into a guy at a gas station. His name is Teddy. It was a bad interaction, but then he ends up coming back with his father to the retirement home. That was like their second first impression, and it ends up that his father kind of like owns the real estate of the homes and like the company of the retirement homes, technically, I think. And he forces his son to stay there, work there, because he doesn't have a job, he needs money, stuff like that. And he ends up living in the second half, like it's split in half, her house, because she lives on the property and he lives on the second half. So this book is friends slash enemy to lovers, like forced proximity. It's like second chance, I guess you can say, because it's a second first impression. I don't know, I really did enjoy it. I like how there's different aspects. I loved her, I think her name was Melanie, I don't remember names, I'm very bad at names after I read a book, but her co-worker, I loved her. She was amazing. And there's kind of like two-ish plot twists at the end. I saw one of them coming, but the other one, it was like really sweet, very wholesome. I loved it. There's two characters, two older women from the retirement home that are big characters in the book, and that, like, I loved that. I loved reading their parts, but the ending was super sweet. And yeah, it was a good book. It was a good read. It was a little bit slow in the beginning, but it was very good overall. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. And those were all the books I read. It was not a crazy month. It was because the first half I was in a slump. I didn't get into my first book, The Honey Don't List, until like around Valentine's Day. That's like halfway through the month. So yeah, the first half I was just stuck with the Addicted series, but we're through that now. I'm gonna get back to it at the end of March, so maybe we'll see that in March or April. Right now I am reading Darling Venom by, I keep forgetting her name. Is it Parker Huntington? I think it's something like that. But I am absolutely loving it, like a lot, but we'll talk about that next month. Let me know if you've read any of the books I've read, your thoughts, your opinions. Give me new books down in the description, just literally anything. We could talk in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you hopefully in the next one. Bye!